Hello, and welcome back to the Human Shield. I'm Woody Guthrie, and today we have got the best episode yet. After all of it, after Superman Vic, Sweaty Leon, it slipped my mind. It really did. But Tin Man Tom, we never even mentioned Tom. He is the central part of this story, okay? I did my best to just forget about him. I really did. And the proof is that it took 7 episodes to get to the main villain of the story. We'll get into it. The note says, the Tin Man tyrant, Tom, the glitch in the Matrix. Everyone knows Tom. He is the background noise of systemic evil. Okay, let's explain that, because it sounds a little absurd, but it's not. Go up there to Texas Card House and say, hey, to anyone, hey, do you know Tom? And I promise you, you will see someone doing this, eyes rolling back in their head. It's a glitch in the Matrix. Everyone knows exactly what I'm talking about with this guy. It's not a mystery. And I just got used to it. You know, he's there. That's the way it is. That's the guy the Texas Card House wants for you. And I really struggled with this analogy, with this nickname. You know, is he the Tin Man? He's definitely the Tin Man. Okay, because if you remember, the Tin Man had no brain, I think. Tin Man had no brain. No, the Scarecrow had no brain. Tin Man Tom sounds so good. And wait till you see these memes I got for you. But, the hollow chest. He could also be Courage the Cowardly Lion, because there is no courage inside of that hollow, empty shell of a chest. The Scarecrow is the one with no brain, and he could very easily fall into that category, but I'm sticking with Tin Man Tom, because either way, he's hollow on the inside. The note says, the sock police, petty tyranny. He'll harass you about your pants while the payroll is bouncing. This is how they keep their workers small, by obsessing over the socks while the ship is sinking. Okay, I was in there on my day off, and I learned this 20 years ago. They tried to tell you on Friday, don't go to work on your day off. I went to work on my day off, and Tom is in there harassing me, telling me, hey Ryan, you know you can't wear those pants while you're working.
Damn! You got to be a stupid motherfucker to get fired on your day off.
Thank you for that piece of information. Now can you just imagine if when he said this to me, I had been looking at this man as a joke, you know, for years. And so it rolled right off of me. Okay, but can you imagine if you're looking at this man as your boss, as a responsible adult, potentially as a role model, okay, and he's doing this to you every day? That is what causes the conditions that we will discuss very soon. First, we gotta talk about Mike Williams, okay? We are this deep into this, and we never talked about the general manager, Mike Williams, aka the Creep-In Chief. I met this man one time, and I was like, no, I'm going to avoid him even more so than Tom. Mike stayed over there at Las Colinas, which is why I didn't go to Las Colinas for 2 years. And it allowed me to forget about Tom's daily micro-tyrannies. But then they needed another floor manager, and I wasn't interested. I ignored it for like months. The first couple of times they put up the posting, I completely ignored it. And then they put it up again, and he sounded so desperate. I mean, the tone of these postings was dire need and desperation. And so I put in my resume, my application, the CV for this floor man job that they desperately needed to fill. And he asked me, Ryan, why do you want this job? Well, what a question, man. You asking the hard stuff right up front. And I don't believe in lying to these people or to anyone. So I told them I really don't want the job. What I want is a nice poker room, and the place is falling to pieces, and you're begging, and it's really... You just seem like you need me, man. The thought that made me put in this application was, I will jump on that grenade for you, boss. Because it had sat there. No one wanted it. It was the talk of the break room. Everyone knew that you needed someone, but the pay and the conditions did not align with the risks. And ultimately, if you can believe it, I was not selected for the position. However, it was not that interview which ultimately tanked me. Okay? Mike Williams was, well, let's just say I was right when I took one look at him. You know, he never sat still. He was just constantly vibrating for years. That's what he was like, okay? You couldn't talk to him even if you wanted to. And I definitely didn't, because, like I said, he gave me the creeps. And then, after years of this, these other guys that we've talked about, the Ryan Crows, the Victor Leones, the Leons, even the Toms, these guys, these are the ones that got together and were like, even the stuff Mike Williams is doing is a little bit too much. I'm gonna have to cut him loose, okay? And I don't want to get too far into it, but the stuff that he was doing is the kind of stuff that would make Jeffrey Epstein applaud, possibly even hand out an award, okay? And so what I learned was that my hesitation in applying for this position, and ultimately my being passed over for it, is ultimately the highest badge of honor, one of them, that a young man can qualify for, and I wear it proudly right here every day, Mike Williams. I told you, they finally cut him loose. It was too much. They had to redact the association there. So I went back over there to Las Colinas because the threat was gone. I felt safe, and I was wrong. Let's just say I was right. What I uncovered over there was horrifying, shocking, terrifying. I thought we had left this stuff behind hundreds of years ago, okay? It was like when Pharaoh told the Egyptians to make bricks with no straw. They're squeezing blood out of stones over there, okay? It's terrible. It was, well, after spending some time over there and sitting around in the break room, the conversation that we were having sounded like, well, guys, okay, I have seen and read about these conditions before. Okay, it's like when, well, what they got you guys doing is very similar to what they had these children and these coal miners doing underground, like right at the turn of the 20th century. Okay, you're deep underground. The whole thing's a house of cards that can collapse at any moment. And you're getting paid $2, okay? It is exactly like these child laborers in these coal mines. And I told them, there is a way out. We can turn this around. I told them what we can do. I told them I'm pretty happy. You know, I work 1-2 days a week, but I do not. Well, I can't go on listening to this stuff that you guys are talking about. So what these coal miners ended up doing is what I told these guys, is they ended up going on strike and forming a union. They laid down the blueprint. And I told them it wasn't going to be easy. I told them that these coal mines had sent in the army, started shooting all the women and children, but the coal miners didn't give up. They kept a fighting, and today, you can check it for yourself, coal mining is actually a really good job, okay? These guys got some really good outcomes, good pay, good benefits, and all because they took a stand and they kept fighting. And I told them that I would do that with them if they wanted to. We could talk it over. And that was pretty much the end of my shift. So when I'm going to clock out, I reminded them that we the people are the ones with the ultimate power, with the U word, the union. We can move from disposable human shields, and we can secure a future for ourselves and our children. And then, on my time card, I even wrote down, they are openly talking about suicide in the break room. Please help, please. And I clocked out, and I hit submit, and I know HR saw it. This is the very check that they tried to cancel. You know, it wasn't a personal note. It's a plea for help, okay? Because all this other stuff that we've been talking about is real, and it has a real effect on these people. The people that are looking up to Tom and Mike as bosses. You know, I can look at them and identify right away. These are incompetent individuals with no self-control and no moral anchor. But not everyone can do that, okay? And they trust the authority, and you put them in charge. And then this is where it leads them. They're in the break room talking about suicide as the only way out of your corrupt system. And then you fire me for offering them an alternative and saying, hey, no, buddy, you do not have to go kill yourself. There are better ways, and you fired me for it. And that is a protected activity. It's called Section 7 of the National Labor Relations Act, hereafter referred to as the NLRA, concerted activity for mutual aid or provision. We will be back. This story continues.